there is a quiet power inside every one of us, a power that awakens when we learn to step back, breathe, and allow life to unfold without forcing every answer. We live in a world that rushes us, pushes us, and convinces that we must speak, always react, always fight to be heard. But sometimes the greatest strength you can show is silence. Silence is not weakness. Silence is wisdom. Silence is the space where clarity reveals itself. When you stay silent, you create room for your intuition to speak. You begin to hear the voice within you that has been drowned out by noise, expectations, and fear. In silence, you discover what truly matters and what was never worth your energy. You learn that not every battle deserves your response, and not every opinion needs your attention. Silence is the doorway to peace, and peace is the birthplace of all good decisions. There will be moments in life when reacting quickly feels tempting, when anger rises, when hurt is loud, when pressure builds. But silence gives you something that emotion cannot give you: perspective. It allows your mind to settle and your heart to soften. It brings you back to yourself, and when you pause instead of rush, when you breathe instead of explode, the right path begins to appear naturally. Silence also protects your power. When you do not reveal your every thought, your every plan, your every feeling, you stay grounded. You keep your energy sacred. You allow life to grow silently beneath the surface until the right moment arrives. You do not need to announce your progress. You do not need to defend your worth. You do not need to explain your journey. What is meant for you will always find you, and silence creates the space for it. And the most beautiful part is this: when you stop forcing life, life starts flowing toward you. The people meant for you arrive without effort. The answers you needed appear at the perfect time. The opportunities that belong to you come naturally because you are no longer chasing, you are aligning. Silence opens the door to alignment. It teaches you patience, trust, and inner strength. It teaches you that everything unfolds exactly as it is. Stop trying when you're trying to control what was never meant to be controlled. Stay silent, not because you have nothing to say, but because you finally understand that your peace, your clarity, and your energy are worth protecting. Stay silent because the universe speaks loudest when you are quiet. And when you honor that silence, everything meant for you flows into your life naturally, gently, and beautifully. Silence is not emptiness. It is a powerful presence that holds clarity, strength, and truth. In a world that constantly pushes you to talk louder, react faster, and prove yourself endlessly, silence becomes a quiet rebellion, a return to your inner center, and a reminder that your greatest power often lives in your calmness. When you choose silence, you are not avoiding life. You are understanding it. You begin to hear the parts of yourself that were buried beneath noise, pressure, and expectations. Silence teaches you that you do not need to respond to everything immediately. You do not need to explain yourself to everyone, and you do not need to fight battles that drain your peace. When you are silent, you observe instead of react. You think instead of explode, and you understand instead of assume. Most people speak quickly because they fear being misunderstood, but silence teaches you that being understood starts with understanding yourself first. In silence, you begin to see life with sharper clarity. You notice the intentions behind people's words, the energy behind their actions, and the truth behind their behavior. Silence becomes a filter revealing who respects your boundaries and who crosses them, who values your presence and who merely uses it, who stands with you and who stands only for themselves. Without arguments or explanations, silence quietly exposes everything. Silence also teaches you self-control because staying silent in moments of anger or frustration is not weakness. It is emotional maturity. It takes strength to not respond when provoked, to remain calm when challenged, and to hold your peace when someone tries to disrupt it. Silence protects your dignity because when you speak from anger, You often regret your words, but when you pause in silence, you choose your words with intention, or sometimes you choose not to waste them at all. When you embrace silence, your intuition grows stronger. Your inner voice becomes louder than the outer world. You begin to sense what is right for you, what is wrong for you, what is forcing you, and what is naturally aligning with you. In silence, you find answers that noise could never deliver. You discover guidance not from outside validation, but from internal wisdom. Silence reconnects you to yourself. Silence also teaches patience because you learn that everything does not need a reaction, everything does not require urgency, and everything will unfold in its time. Silence reminds you that sometimes waiting is wiser than acting, and observing is stronger than interfering. It teaches you that peace is found not in forcing life, but in flowing with it, trusting that what is meant for you will come without chaos. Silence helps you heal too, because pain speaks loudly inside you until you finally sit with it quietly. In silence, you understand your wounds, your fears, your triggers, and your patterns. You begin to release what has been holding you emotionally hostage. Silence is where the real healing begins, because healing does not start with talking louder. It starts with listening deeper. Silence becomes a form of self-respect, because the more you value your peace, the less you feel the need to speak unnecessarily. You stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You stop arguing with those who do not deserve your voice. You stop reacting to negativity because silence becomes your shield. The true strength of silence is that it transforms you from within. It teaches you to hold your power, guard your energy, and rise above the noise. When you master silence, you move through life with calm confidence, unshakable peace, and a wisdom that comes from listening to the quiet parts of your soul. In silence, you discover the strongest version of yourself. Silence is the gateway to understanding because it teaches you how to truly listen with your heart and your intuition rather than simply hearing words. In a world filled with constant noise, conversations, and distractions, listening has become a lost art, but silence restores it. When you remain quiet, you give yourself the opportunity to notice things that are often overlooked, to perceive emotions that are unspoken, and to sense the truth that exists beyond the surface. Silence allows you to hear the subtle messages that life constantly sends, messages that are usually drowned out by hurried reactions and endless chatter. Listening through silence is not passive. It is an active engagement with the world around you and with yourself. Most people listen only to reply. They listen only to defend, interrupt, or prove a point, but true listening requires patience, focus, and awareness. When you stay silent, you shift into a state where you can absorb without judgment, observe without distraction, and understand without interruption. You begin to see what is really happening around you, and you learn to notice the energy behind words, the intent behind actions, and the emotions behind behavior. Silence allows your intuition to become clearer because intuition speaks softly and can only be heard when the mind and heart are quiet. When you are constantly reacting or speaking, your inner guidance is drowned out noise, doubt, and fear. Silence removes these obstacles and strengthens your ability to trust yourself. It helps you differentiate between what feels right and what feels forced, what is aligned with your growth and what is not. As you practice silence, you learn to hear the subtle nudges that guide you toward the right choices, the right people, and the right opportunities. Silence also enhances your emotional intelligence because it gives you the space to observe your own feelings without immediately acting on them. You begin to notice triggers, patterns, and habitual responses that have influenced your decisions and relationships. Through silence, you gain the ability to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. And this awareness empowers you to make choices that protect your peace and nurture your growth. You start to see that not every situation requires your energy, not every opinion needs your response, and not every conflict deserves your involvement. Furthermore, listening through silence transforms your relationships. When you listen deeply without interrupting, judging, or trying to control the conversation, people feel heard, valued, and respected. Silence allows you to understand others more deeply, sensing their struggles, hopes, and intentions even when they do not express them explicitly. You become more empathetic, patient, and aware of what others need from you and what you need from them. Listening in silence strengthens bonds because understanding is the foundation of meaningful connection. Silence also reveals authenticity because when you stop speaking for the sake of noise, you notice who is genuine and who is not. People who cannot tolerate silence often reveal their insecurity or discomfort through restlessness, impatience, or unnecessary chatter. Silence becomes a filter that allows you to see the truth about people's intentions and to discern who deserves your trust and attention. It also teaches you discernment in life, showing you which opportunities, conversations, and connections are aligned with your purpose. Finally, silence helps you listen to life itself. Life communicates through subtle signs, synchronicities, and gentle nudges that can be noticed only when you stop rushing, reacting, and overthinking. By cultivating silence, you allow yourself to receive these messages, to align with the natural flow of life, and to make choices with wisdom and clarity. Listening through silence is a practice of awareness, patience, and trust, and it shows is that sometimes the answers you seek are not found in speaking louder, but in listening more deeply. Silence is one of the most powerful tools for mastering emotional control because it creates a pause between feeling and reacting, allowing you to respond with wisdom instead of impulse. Most people allow their emotions to dictate their actions, speaking or acting immediately when anger, fear, or disappointment arises. But silence gives you the space to observe and understand your feelings before you let them shape your behavior. Emotional control is not about suppressing feelings. It is about recognizing them, understanding them, and choosing a response that preserves your peace and aligns with your values. When you remain silent in moments of emotional intensity, you gain clarity, patience, and strength. By practicing silence, you begin to notice the patterns of your emotions as they rise and fall. You recognize the triggers that provoke anger, the fears that spark anxiety, and the insecurities that create frustration. Silence allows you to step back, and while you examine, you feel a certain way, what your mind is interpreting and whether your reaction will serve or harm you. This awareness transforms the way you interact with life and with others because you no longer react automatically to every emotional surge. You respond thoughtfully, intentionally, and from a place of strength rather than weakness. Silence also protects you from saying things you may later regret. In heated moments, words spoken in anger or frustration can damage relationships, create misunderstandings, and escalate conflicts. By pausing in silence, you give yourself the chance to process your thoughts and emotions fully before speaking. This pause strengthens your relationships because your words carry intention and thoughtfulness rather than reaction and chaos. Emotional control cultivated through silence ensures that your communication becomes clear, compassionate, and effective. Furthermore, silence helps you distinguish between reality and emotional perception. Often, our minds create exaggerated stories or assumptions in response to intense feelings. Without silence, we react based on these distorted interpretations rather than facts. Silence gives you the opportunity to filter what is true, to see situations objectively, and to respond in alignment with reality instead of projection. It allows you to break free from reactive cycles and develop the emotional maturity necessary to navigate complex situations with grace. Practicing silence also teaches resilience because it allows you to remain grounded even when external circumstances are chaotic. When others attempt to provoke you or manipulate your emotions, silence becomes your shield, protecting your energy and your peace. Emotional control through silence demonstrates inner strength, showing the world that you are not easily swayed by external pressures or temporary emotional storms. This strength grows over time as consistent silence trains your mind and heart to remain centered despite challenges. Silence additionally encourages self-reflection and emotional healing. By sitting quietly with your feelings, you gain insight into unresolved pain, patterns of behavior, and deep-seated fears. This reflection is necessary for growth because it enables you to transform reactive habits into intentional actions. You learn to process hurt without lashing out, to release negativity without bitterness, and to respond with calmness instead of reactivity. Silence becomes a teacher, guiding you to master your emotions and gain control over your life. Finally, silence elevates your presence and influence. People naturally respond to those who are calm, composed, and measured because such individuals radiate confidence and stability. Emotional control through silence makes you a source of calm in turbulent situations and an example of strength for others. It allows you to navigate life with clarity, respond to challenges with wisdom, and handle conflict with poise. Silence transforms your emotional energy into a powerful force that shapes your actions, your relationships, and your destiny. Through silence, emotional control is not just achieved, it becomes a natural part of your character, providing balance, resilience, and an inner strength that nothing in the external world can easily disturb. Silence is the teacher of patience because it shows you that not everything in life needs to be forced or rushed, and that true growth unfolds in its own time, naturally and deliberately. When you remain silent, you create space to observe life rather than pushing against it, and this observation allows you to understand the natural rhythm of events. Most people become frustrated when results do not come instantly or when opportunities seem delayed. But silence teaches that waiting is not weakness, that delays are not denials, and that the most meaningful outcomes often require preparation, timing, and careful alignment. By embracing silence, you begin to trust that life has a plan and that everything unfolds perfectly according to its own timing. Silence allows you to cultivate patience by helping you observe situations without reacting impulsively. When you pause before responding, you give yourself the chance to think, to reflect, and to understand that some things simply need time. Life has its own flow, and trying to control it or force outcomes often leads to unnecessary stress, mistakes, and wasted energy. Patience learned through silence is not passive waiting. It is active trust, an understanding that your actions, your energy, and your focus are more effective when aligned with the right moment. When you remain silent, you notice that the things you desire often appear when you are ready to receive them, not when you demand them. Opportunities, relationships, answers, and breakthroughs come naturally when your mind is calm and your heart is aligned. Impatience creates tension and confusion, whereas silence provides clarity and confidence. By practicing silence, you train yourself to wait without anxiety, to trust without needing constant reassurance, and to act only when the timing is right. This approach reduces frustration, increases effectiveness, and strengthens your ability to make thoughtful decisions. Patience through silence also enhances emotional stability because when you stop rushing, you stop reacting from fear or frustration. Silence allows you to observe your emotional responses and notice when impatience is clouding your judgment. You begin to recognize that some things require nurturing, some require endurance, and some simply require letting go. This understanding helps you navigate challenges calmly because you know that forcing results will not create lasting success, but allowing the natural process to unfold will produce outcomes that are aligned with your highest good. Moreover, silence teaches the value of consistent effort combined with patience. While waiting, you continue to grow, prepare, and improve yourself quietly without needing an immediate recognition or validation. Patience allows you to invest in the process rather than being obsessed with the end result. This approach builds resilience and self-discipline because you learn to focus on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. Silence turns waiting into an opportunity for growth, reflection, and readiness. Silence also reveals the hidden lessons in timing. Often what seems like a delay is actually a preparation period, a time for learning, healing, or gaining perspective. By remaining silent, you can see that life is not out of sync, but perfectly orchestrated for your growth and benefit. You develop the understanding that rushing leads to mistakes, forcing leads to misalignment, and impatience leads to unnecessary stress. Patience and silence together create a sense of balance and harmony that allows you to navigate life with grace, even when the outcomes are not immediately visible. Finally, silence teaches you to surrender to the natural flow of life. Surrender does not mean giving up. It means trusting that everything you are waiting for is moving toward you in its perfect timing. It is the confidence that what is meant for you cannot be taken, and what is delayed is preparing for the right moment to arrive. Patience through silence strengthens your spirit, calms your mind, and allows you to receive life's blessings fully. It shows that sometimes the most powerful action is to pause, observe, and trust, knowing that life unfolds most beautifully when you allow it to come naturally. Through silence, patience becomes a practice of faith, trust, and wisdom, teaching you that everything has its own timing. And the more you embrace quiet, the more your life aligns effortlessly with your true path. Silence is the key to attracting the right things into your life because it shifts your energy from chasing to receiving, from forcing to allowing, and from seeking externally to aligning internally. When your mind is quiet and your heart is calm, your energy becomes magnetic and the universe begins to respond to the vibrations you emit. Most people spend their lives chasing opportunities, relationships, and success, believing that effort alone will bring results. But silence teaches a deeper truth. What is meant for you cannot be forced. It will come naturally when your energy is aligned and your intentions are clear. When you practice silence, you stop wasting energy on distractions, drama, or situations that are not meant for you. This creates space for what is truly aligned with your purpose to enter your life. Silence allows you to focus on your inner growth, to prepare for what is coming, and to attract opportunities that match your frequency. You begin to notice that things you once chased begin to appear effortlessly because your energy is no longer scattered but concentrated on clarity, intention, and readiness. Silence also strengthens your ability to receive. When your mind is constantly noisy with doubts, fears, and demands, you cannot notice the subtle signs, synchronicities, and opportunities that life presents. By being quiet, you become more aware of these signals and you learn to recognize which opportunities, people, and experiences are truly meant for you. Silence helps you distinguish between what is temporary and what is permanent, between what is genuine and what is superficial, and between what will uplift you and what will drain you. Through silence, you also develop patience and trust. You understand that life operates according to perfect timing, and that what is meant for you will arrive when you are ready to receive it. This understanding reduces frustration, fear, and the need to control outcomes because you trust that forcing will not accelerate results. Silence teaches you to align your energy, maintain your focus, and stay present, knowing that the right things come naturally when your inner state is calm and steady. Silence refines your discernment in relationships and interactions. You begin to notice who resonates with your energy, who supports your growth, and who adds value to your life. People who create chaos or drain your energy become obvious in the quiet, while those who are aligned with your path remain naturally close. By staying silent and observing, you attract relationships that are authentic, supportive, and empowering rather than forcing connections that are out of alignment. Moreover, silence enhances your confidence and self-worth. When you no longer feel the need to announce your abilities, explain your value, or justify your actions, your natural power becomes magnetic. People and opportunities are drawn to your presence because it radiates calm assurance, integrity, and clarity. Silence teaches you that your energy and intentions speak louder than words, and that authenticity attracts what you truly deserve. Silence also deepens your spiritual awareness and alignment with life's flow. By quieting your mind, you begin to sense guidance from your intuition, inner wisdom, and the universe. You notice patterns, opportunities, and pathways that you would have missed if your mind was overwhelmed with noise and distraction. This awareness allows you to act when the timing is right and to step into opportunities that align perfectly with your growth and purpose. Finally, that silence teaches you that true attraction is effortless. It is not about pursuing relentlessly or controlling outcomes. It is about being prepared, aligned, and ready to receive. When your inner world is calm and focused, the right people, opportunities, and blessings naturally gravitate toward you. Silence transforms you from a seeker into a magnet, and from a reactive participant into an intentional creator, allowing life to flow to you effortlessly, beautifully, and in perfect harmony with your journey. Through silence, you learn that attracting the right opportunities is not about force. It is about alignment, energy, and the quiet confidence that life always delivers what is meant for you at exactly the right time. In conclusion, silence is not emptiness. It is power. It is the space where clarity rises, where emotions are understood, and where wisdom emerges. Through silence, we learn to listen deeply to ourselves, to others, and to life itself. It teaches us emotional control, patience, and the art of trusting the natural flow of events. Silence allows us to attract what is truly aligned with our growth without forcing, chasing, or demanding. It strengthens our intuition, sharpens our discernment, and protects our peace. When we embrace silence, we step into our true power, allowing life to unfold naturally, bringing the right opportunities, relationships, and blessings at exactly the right time. By mastering the art of staying silent, we discover that everything we desire comes not through noise or force, but through calm, focus, and intentional presence. Silence becomes our guide, our teacher, and our greatest ally on the journey to a fulfilled and balanced life.